I often upload videos on YouTube and commentate on what's being said, but occasionally I stumble across a video that has direct questions that I can answer from my personal atheistic point of view. Hello, I'm the Skeptic. I watch videos on YouTube that make extraordinary claims, whether that's flat earth or strange conspiracies, but mostly the claim that a god is real, and then explain why I can't accept their position. Before we get into today's video, please do subscribe, hit that bell notification to be alerted for my next video, and drop a like. That would be fantastic. As an atheist, I like to understand how theists reach the conclusions they make. I do this by asking questions. So when a theist asks questions, it's only fair to answer them as openly and honestly as possible, so that there's a mutual understanding on position. Choose Jesus, with just over 100 subscribers, does just that in this video.
Hello friends. So with this video, I have some questions for atheists. Now, this is not a debate. I'm not really trying to refute you. Just some questions for you to consider. Some questions I had to consider when I was an atheist and an agnostic.
So, there was a time that you weren't convinced that there was a God, and now you're convinced there is. I would love to know what it was that convinced you. Maybe that's where I'm going wrong. Also, you were agnostic, but now you're Gnostic? As in you know there's a God? This is groundbreaking stuff.
A lot of these questions help push me to the truth, which is Christianity is the truth.
Ah, gotcha. These are the questions you need to answer to become a Christian and know there's a God. I can't wait.
Well, let's get started. So, do you believe in the scientific impossibility that everything came out of nothing?
No, because I don't know that there was nothing, nor would I be able to demonstrate that. So I accept that there was always something, and will do until it's been demonstrated otherwise.
Now, I've heard some atheists say no, some atheists say yes. And if you said no, you don't believe that, then that's good. You're close to being agnostic.
Great. I've never claimed to be Gnostic, so do I get a prize?
Because how could anything come out of nothing? That makes no sense. That's magic. And I don't do magic.
But you believe there's a... Oh, never mind. That's too easy.
I do miracles.
Potato, potato.
Do you believe life came out of non-life? How could something not living create life?
I trust the scientific explanation that certain chemical combinations with added environmental conditions could cause inorganic matter to become organic, but the scientific theory of abiogenesis goes way over my head, so the short answer is yes.
It didn't have life in it. Where did it come from? Like this pencil. It's not alive.
And that pencil is more than likely way more complex than the first ever organisms.
How could this pencil create life?
It can't. Whoever suggested it could?
Think about that.
I did. Next.
You believe consciousness came out of something that didn't have any conscious? How so? This pencil doesn't have any consciousness. How could consciousness come out of it?
It all depends on the definition of conscious. As there are varying degrees of awareness, the more simple an organism, the less consciousness it requires. Take simple multi-celled organisms that eat food. They just float around in a soup, floating over something they absorb. They don't need consciousness to survive. But as living organisms become more complex, they require a certain level of awareness to survive. What would a pencil need to be aware of to survive?
What about intelligence? Intelligence coming out of non-intelligence? Where do you see that happening?
Over hundreds of millions of years of natural selection, maybe. Let's say humans were born 300,000 years ago with the level of intelligence we have today. How would the Earth look now? As a species, we've evolved over time a way to understand and live safely in the world we inhabit. And we still have a long way to go before we get it right.
This is insane. Or being aware. Awareness coming out of non-awareness. This pencil's not aware of anything. You know?
Maybe stop focusing on the pencil and look at some real science. Just a suggestion.
The Big Bang, the explosion. Some atheists say it was an expansion. It's not an explosion. But the expansion was faster than the speed of light. That sounds like an explosion to me. I don't know, guys.
You said it. I don't know. Clearly. So because you don't understand it, are you asserting it must be some kind of miracle? You'd need to demonstrate that. At least the expansion of the universe can be demonstrated, given that science demonstrates that there is movement in an outward fashion up there.
How about if I say, do you believe this pencil had a maker, designer, builder, creator, I mean, you're going to say, yes, it does.
Or I'm going to say that the machine that made it had a designer.
This maker had to be intelligent, had to be conscious to make it.
Not if it was a machine, it wouldn't.
I mean, we see the intelligence behind it. The wood, the way it's shaped, cut. We have the lead in the middle. We have this metal piece holding the eraser.
He's really good at describing pencils, though. I'll give him that.
The wood, the way it's shaped. We have the lead, this metal piece holding the eraser, eraser. Now, of course, as an atheist or agnostic, you're going to say, yes, of course, this pencil does have a maker, designer, builder, and creator. Because it would be insane. How could this create itself?
This is becoming less questions for atheists and more, I'll tell you what atheists think.
But then some atheists will tell me, oh, yeah, we believe this pencil does, but the whole universe doesn't.
Only because you can observe and demonstrate that pencils are created. We know how pencils are made. We can observe and test it over and over and over. Unfortunately, we only have one universe, and so can't exactly say how universes come to be. We can observe things that are happening in the universe and then apply that info to come up with theories, then test those theories until there's demonstrable proof. But at no point does science go, there's no way we could ever understand how this works. Therefore, it must have been a universe-creating elephant called Eric. That would be fallacious.
That's insane.
Exactly my point.
What's more complex, this pencil or the entire universe? All the galaxies, the solar system, all the millions of different animals and plant life and humans that have consciousness and awareness and intelligence, and there's so much order, the fine-tuning of the universe.
Yep, you heard it here. This guy is comparing the universe to a pencil.
What about evolution? You really think you were a monkey?
No! And here I was hoping this would be a serious video, but nope, it gets more and more stupid. If you spent even 10 minutes researching basic evolution, you'd understand that we merely share a common ancestor with all the primates on Earth, and a closer ancestor with all the other great apes. Monkeys don't go around turning into people. What on earth are they teaching in schools these days?
No wonder why atheists act like monkeys, because they believe their grandparents were monkeys.
Wow. Just wow. I had big hopes for this guy. I've never once claimed my parents were monkeys. Heck, I have photographs with them and know that they're not. Tell me you don't understand how evolution works without telling me you don't understand how evolution works. Then, for the next almost 10 minutes, he goes on a long ramble about testimony and prayer and nonsense that can't be demonstrated, which I definitely would like to revisit at some point, but since this video is supposed to be answering questions and this guy went from question asker to name caller, we can call it a day. How would you have answered these questions? Let me know in the section below, but for now, I'm going to skeptic these questions as answered. Don't forget to hit the like button and subscribe if you haven't already. From me, the skeptic, stay safe, keep thinking logically and ask questions. Skepticism is the first step towards truth. See you next Saturday.